former cruiserweight and heavyweight champion David Haye has apparently come out of retirement and is back in training already. And supposedly, he's been linked to a fight with Bermane Stiverne for the vacant WBC heavyweight title recently vacated by Vitaly Klitschko. And this is less than 2 months after David Haye pulled out of the Tyson Fury fight for the second time and retired because of a supposedly career-ending shoulder injury. Incredible. And if that shoulder injury really was genuine, which I have my serious doubts about, but if it really was genuine, because fighters do get injured, David Haye has been injured in his career. If the shoulder injury was genuine, then it's like the boy who cried wolf. David Haye doesn't deserve for anyone to believe him at this stage because he's lied so many times. He's deceived the public so many times that he don't deserve to have anyone believe him, even if he did have a genuine injury. David Haye has put people out of pocket. People paid good money to go and watch fights, David Haye fights, which David Haye's pulled out of several times. People paid for tickets, accommodation, travel. And most of them are working class people. They don't have the money to waste like David Haye does because he's a millionaire. David Haye is an incredibly selfish man. Incredibly selfish. I understand boxing is, at the end of the day, a business and it's about making money for the fighter because the fighter wants to secure his finances and secure his future. But you have to have some type of integrity. And it seems David Haye has absolutely none. We know for a fact that David Haye has lied about injuries to get out of fights. We know for a fact because before he pulled out of the Manuel Charr fight, the Tyson Fury camp have come out and said that David Haye approached them and proposed the fight with Tyson Fury. And they verbally agreed to it. And then a few days later, David Haye pulled out of the Manuel Charr fight with an apparent broken hand. We know that was a bullshit excuse. We know that he wasn't injured, when he pulled out of the Manuel Charr fight. So he's got a history of bullshitting the public and pulling out of fights because of BS excuses. He's got a history of it. So again, like I said, if he does have a genuine injury, it's like the boy who cried wolf, and no one should believe this guy. He don't deserve to have the confidence and the faith of the public. He deserves the criticism he's getting right now. Really disgusting. Really, really disgusting. And the only heavyweight out there who's as slimy as David Haye seems to be is Vladimir Klitschko. Because, of course, Vladimir Klitschko pulled out of 2 fights with Derek Chisora. And me personally, in my opinion, I don't believe those doctors' reports and x-rays that Vladimir Klitschko got. I personally believe they were most likely faked. Because he's got the kind of money to do that. He's got the kind of money to do that. Because it was way too convenient the way Vladimir Klitschko pulled out of 2 fights with Derek Chisora. And then after he pulled out the second fight, he was seen playing golf just a week or so afterwards. People took pictures of it. And then shortly after that, he announced the David Haye fight. Now, I think David Haye's worse than Klitschko, but Klitschko's up there with him in terms of sliminess. And obviously, Klitschko put Derek Chisora out of the ring for a year, cost him thousands and thousands in training costs, same as David Haye did to Tyson Fury. I mean, these guys really have no kind of scruples at all. Totally devoid of any kind of moral fiber when it comes to doing business in the world of boxing, David Haye and Vladimir Klitschko. And if David Haye does end up fighting Bermane Stiverne, I'm not a David Haye hater. I'm just telling the truth about the guy. The guy has deceived the public so many times, man. Look at the Audley Harrison fight. He took the Audley Harrison fight knowing that it would be a mismatch. And I remember when he took that fight, he said he took it because the fans wanted to see him fight Audley more than anyone else. I mean, that has got to be one of the biggest lies David Haye's ever told. Now, the great trainer, Costamado, once said, champion fighters have to be champion liars. That's what he said. He said that you should always keep your opponent guessing. You should never let your opponent know how you're training, what you're really doing. You should always keep them guessing. But it seems like David Haye, and to a slightly lesser degree, Vladimir Klitschko, have taken that mantra to the next level, especially David Haye. When you look at his career, especially at heavyweight, this guy has lied so many times, and he's lied. I mean, the lying with David Haye goes all the way back to his cruiserweight days, which I could go to in another video, go into in another video. This guy's told some outrageous lies, and it started back in his cruiserweight days. The first time I caught him lying badly was probably after the Carl Thompson fight. In the interview in the Carl Thompson fight, he told some lies. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. We know how David Haye is. Very slimy guy in terms of the way he does business in the world of boxing. And if he fights Bermane Stiverne, I will be rooting for Bermane Stiverne, and I hope Bermane Stiverne knocks him out. And the same goes for Vladimir Klitschko. We need these guys out of the heavyweight division, man. We need Vladimir gone. We need David Haye gone. Then we might be able to have a decent heavyweight division. Not like Vladimir isn't talented. Vladimir still right now is the best heavyweight in the world. But the way he conducts himself, the kind of opponents he's taking on, the way he does business has left a very bitter taste in my mouth. And David Haye, like I say, even worse. So it is what it is. Anyway, how do you feel a fight between David Haye and Bermane Stiverne would go? Who do you think would win? It makes sense, I guess, from the WBC's perspective to have David Haye fight Bermane Stiverne rather than David Haye fight Chris Arreola, because that would be a rematch. We've already seen Stiverne beat Arreola, whereas David Haye is a big name in boxing. They could have the fight in the States. The WBC could make a lot of money. So I'm pretty sure they're more interested in that fight than an Arreola-Stiverne rematch. How do you think the fight would go if it did come off? One thing I will say is that Bermane Stiverne has slow feet. Yeah, and David Haye has fast feet. So he might be able to offset a lot of Bermane Stiverne's punching power just with foot movement. But again, this ain't a prediction video. This is just news and telling you guys what's going on. So yeah, pretty, not really surprising, to be honest. Not really surprising after the second time David Haye pulled out. It seemed really bogus when he pulled out of the Fury fight for the second time. Not surprising he's back already, but really disgusting. Really, really disgusting. And I hope Bermane Stiverne knocks this guy out if the fight takes place, man. I'll be rooting for Stiverne all the way. Anyway, drop your comments below. I'm sure a lot of people got a lot to say about this. This is Hat Man. I'm out.